tell me what you know, and then tell me the doubt. Let's do step one and then step two. You said, I know and then I doubt myself. So tell me what you know and then tell me how it's not true. Step one, what do you know?
My question is twofold. How would one know if it is indeed the marriage? How does one determine if it's actually the marriage that is causing them to have a spiritual downcline, or if it is their own wrong interpretations and reactions to what is occurring within the marriage, that their own mitos and reactions are causing their spiritual downcline? And before we even get to that, is it even possible that a marriage can actually, truly cause someone a spiritual decline?
Usually, typically, the most important thing a marriage accomplishes is building a home for children that gives them a foundation to raise the next generation. But there are many things that a marriage accomplishes. But the point is, there has to be something productive. You don't get married. Okay, it pains me to even have to say this, but the truth is we are constantly bombarded with brainwashing, so I'm going to have to say these things. We don't get married for companionship. We don't get married for love. We don't get married for romance. We don't get married for fulfillment. We don't get married for, I don't know, whatever it is that that the people who are selling you shampoo are trying to convince you that marriage is about. You get married because it is one of the most important things that an embodied soul can do in order to accomplish its purpose here on earth. So the main question to ask is not, am I enjoying this? Is it leading to fulfillment? Am I experiencing love and connection and intimacy? Now, pause. Sometimes what a marriage can accomplish, in some marriages, not all, and I wouldn't even say the majority, but in some marriages, the intimate connection that the husband and wife experience with each other is so spiritual that that is one of the things that the marriage is accomplishing for some marriages. I don't think the majority of marriages, but some marriages, yes, that the level of connection they have is truly so altruistic that it is a spiritual connection. And it is therefore making the world a holier place when that spiritual connection happens in the physical embodiment, and particularly in the act of marital physical union, where it is so physicalized, and you take something that's so spiritual and so lofty and making it so down to earth. That's an incredible thing that some marriages accomplish. But other marriages accomplish other things. Not every marriage has to accomplish all things that marriages accomplish. Not every marriage accomplishes the same things, but every marriage has to accomplish something. When a marriage ceases to accomplish anything, that's when the marriage ceases to have value, okay? So it's not when you get tired of it, you get sick of it, when you don't like the other person anymore. That's silly. It's when this is no longer allowing me, or I shouldn't say allowing me, this is no longer helping me to accomplish my purpose here on earth. Now, I'm going to say something else, and I don't know how people are going to take this, but some people come to the world, well, everyone comes to the world for something called nisyonos. Nisyonos means tests, trials, tribulations, challenges, overcoming obstacles, hardships, difficulties. Okay? Every soul comes for that kind of test or series of tests. Some souls come to the world for a lot of tests, intense tests. Some souls come to the world and they really get a run for their money. And that's what they come to the world for, okay? And because of that, some souls come to the world to have exceptionally challenging marital situations, okay? And I wouldn't tell anybody who's in that situation, oh, what a pity you don't have a good marriage. Well, first of all, it's not polite to say that, but even if they wanted me to, even if they gave me permission to comment on their intimate life, I wouldn't even, not only I wouldn't say it, I wouldn't think it. I wouldn't think it, because the truth is, some people, the way they are accomplishing something in this embodiment is that they are going through a challenging marriage and retaining their faith, retaining their good, cheerful disposition toward life, retaining their will to be productive, and that the challenge not only is not a deterrent to their being a productive person, but actually in the way that only challenges can do, is sort of the crushing of the olive that brings out the oil, that the challenging marriage actually is eliciting deeper, hidden, latent potentials, bringing out a person's hidden abilities. So even as someone who would say, my marriage is awful, but I got to tell you, from a spiritual perspective, it's helping me to accomplish something in this world as a soul and a body. I'm learning faith, I'm learning patience, I'm learning compassion. Then I would say you're accomplishing. Like, I couldn't tell somebody you're not allowed to walk away, but I would, by the same token, I wouldn't tell them that they have to leave because they're unhappy. I would say, well, but you're accomplishing. There's something happening here. Maybe it's not fun, but it's productive. Okay? So, in contradistinction,
right,
if someone were to tell me,
mean?
If somebody were to tell me, follow me. If someone were to tell me, I'm in a situation, it's not personally fulfilling, that's for sure not. Okay? But not only that, but it's not making me a better person. It's not making me have more faith. It's not forcing me to connect in a deeper way to Hashem. It's not making me more compassionate to others. It's not awakening in me greater empathy and an ability to relate to others who are also challenged. It's not doing anything like that for me. I'm just kind of sitting here being annoyed and hating my life. I'd say, well then, that's an issue. So,
but is it that person's problem to utilize the situation they're in to learn to better themselves within the situation, or to learn to say,
well, that's a second question. Okay. Now you're asking a second question. But let's just first make sure we have the first question straight. The first question was,
well, I don't know what non-productive means, because
I said it. But I said it already. And now, when now that you tell me you don't know what it means, I'm going to ask you to either say back to me what I said, or I'm going to ask you to give me your own definition. Either one. You can tell me back what I said non-productive means, or you can offer me your own definition what non-productive means.
I don't know if there is non-productive, because if that's what occurred, that's what Hashem wanted. And the only reason why I say that is because I grew up in a non-productive environment. But clearly God wanted me to grow up in that environment.
Hold the phone. Now we got to it. Okay. Tell me about the non-productive environment that you grew up in. I think this is the key to it all.
My father was emotionally abusive to all of us, physically abusive to some of us. My mother was very weak and allowed it to occur, and was a martyr, and basically because of that taught us that loving someone equals martyring yourself. Nothing productive about it. I didn't know that I was like that. I had an neshama that had value until I went through enough hardships on my own and started learning on my own, seeking clarity. I grew up in an environment that taught me the opposite. It was not productive to Yiddishkeit, but clearly it was productive for what my soul needed to experience and what I need to experience now, or I wouldn't have been born into that environment. So even though it's non-productive by your definition, it was productive because it produced 8 dysfunctional children that these 8 children needed to be produced in that environment for whatever our souls need, right?
I'm confused here. Do we disagree or do we agree on the definition of a productive situation?
I would agree, except for the fact that by your definition of a non-productive situation, I lived in that, and it produced 8 kids with severe dysfunction, but clearly that was God's intention. So then it actually was productive, even though by your definition, it looked like your definition of non-productive.
I'm confused about whether or not you know what my definition of a productive situation is. So I just want to hear it from you. What am I saying would be productive or non-productive?
That productive means that even if somebody is in a hard situation,
right,
they are working on themselves. Either they turn more to Hashem for their strength and daven more and grow in their emunah and bitachon and good midos.
Yes.
And non-productive would be somebody who's very angry, resentful.
Yes.
Like I know in my marriage, I was, before I got married, I was a very loving, nurturing person. And now I am not, because I have to be the man and the woman. I have to father the mother. I'm my kids have no nurturing mother. It's non-productive by your definition. It's everything opposite of what it should be.
Got it.
But
okay.
My kids grew up in that environment. That was productive because that's what Hashem wanted, because that's what occurred.
Stop. Just stop. Stop. Nobody here listening is going to be able to keep up with this if we don't stop a second. Please stop. Okay. Take the tape out of the tape player. Just stop. Okay. I want to explain something, not to you, because I think you probably already understand this, but to everyone who's listening. Hashem is infinite. Infinite is big. It's really big. It's not just big. It's so big that multiple things can converge perfectly at once for different reasons, and yet, even while one situation is occurring that's affecting multiple people, it can have exactly the right effect on each different party that it needs to have. In other words, you can be raising your kids in a situation that is, I don't want to say you, okay, because I don't want to personalize it right now. Let's say there's a woman who's raising her children in a dysfunctional situation. It may come to pass that she will decide that the situation is no longer productive for her. And at the very same time, it was productive for her children. It's not a contradiction.
Even if it produced dysfunction?
You have to look at the full story. Sometimes the conflict is the setup for the resolution. Sometimes the problem is the setup for the solution. So if you take a snapshot, you'll say, well, this person has a messed up life. But if you play the whole film, then you'll see, well, they went through adversity, and commensurate to their challenges, they gained insight that other people don't gain because they don't go through those same challenges.
But is the goal insight, or is the goal to be able to actualize that insight into serving Hashem better?
Right. Very, very well stated. Right. The insight by itself that's not acted upon lacks value. So correct. Thank you for adding that. It's not just the insight, it's being able to act on it. Okay, but let's go back, okay, because I put you on pause while I explained something that was sort of a side point, because you brought up the way your children are being affected. I knew that as an educator, I strongly suspected that was going to distract a lot of people and they were going to get into a loop, and I wanted to sort of get us out of that loop. Let's go back to now I'll put the tape back in the tape player. Okay. So you're in a situation now that you're saying is not leading you to what you consider to be ideal character attributes, but rather it's instilling in you feelings of resentment. Is that what you were saying?
If only it was that. It is every possible negative Mida you could imagine. But that's my problem. I can't blame a situation or someone else, right?
Let's just talk in theory over here. Let's say that you were told you have one more year to be in this situation. And at the end of the year, you're being forced to leave the situation. But you will be evaluated based on the insights that you gain, the lessons that you learn. What experiences or internal shifts would you need to have over the next year to be able to leave the situation and say, it made me a better person?
I don't know. Because I've been living like that for at least 6 years, just telling myself it's just till, the kids are older, just till the kid. Yeah, but, this happens with one kid, that kid.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about how much longer can you survive. I'm not talking about kicking the can down the road. I'm doing a little thought experiment here where I'm pretending that you have a year left to study for the exam. You're going to be given an exam a year from now. And the exam is, what did you learn from this challenging situation? In what ways did it make you a better person?
It didn't. It destroyed me. That's the problem.
Not today. I'm talking a year from now. This is a theoretical part of your life that you haven't lived yet. So you have a year for this situation to make you a better person.
If I knew how to utilize it to make myself better, I wouldn't be on this call. I wouldn't have a problem. I don't know.
This is just a thought experiment. This is just a thought experiment. There's no pressure here. You have a year to make yourself a better person from this experience, to glean from it all of the life lessons that you can. So I'm just curious, in this pretend hypothetical situation, what might you come away from this situation with in a year from now?
I know what I would like to be, but I don't.
We're just pretending here.
Believe that I can do it.
Okay. You can you can say I want to learn how to fly. This is pretend. Yeah, but
in the perfect world,
it can't be a non sequitur.
I would be the mother that I always wanted.
This can't be. Stop a second. It can't be a non sequitur. It has to be a cause and effect. You can't just say magically at the end of the year I'm going to become a perfect mother. That doesn't make sense. Then why would you have to be in the situation that you're in? There's no causal relationship. I need you to make a if-then statement. If I will be in this dysfunctional, frustrating, heartbreaking, dysfunctional situation, then I will be able to learn such and such lessons. In other words, don't tell me that magically at the end of the year you're going to become the perfect mother. I need to understand how it's a cause and effect, how the situation actually creates an opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? You do. Okay, so say it to me in a way that is particular to the situation. Don't say it as a non sequitur where I'm going to become a perfect mother at the end of the year. How? Based on what? How is being in the dysfunctional situation you're in conducive to that? How would it lead to that? How would the particular challenges you're facing set you up for that breakthrough? So that's what I need you to tell me.
Not allowing others' actions to affect me.
Okay, let's just stop there for a second because I want to focus. One life lesson, not allowing others' actions to affect me. So if you could come away a year from now and say, you know what? I gained a tremendous insight. I gained emotional autonomy. I'm no longer affected by other people's actions. So that would be a great thing to gain, and it would be an obvious cause and effect. It would be like, oh, I get it. Like you were in a situation where you had to learn that skill, and therefore you learned it. So are you following me?
Yeah.
Okay. So you asked me a question a while ago, which was, how do I know if I'm the problem or if the situation is the problem? If the situation is the problem, I should leave the situation. If I'm the problem, I should fix myself. So here's what I'm saying. Spend a year fixing yourself. Don't make any decisions right now. You know one life lesson that you can learn while you're in this situation. Okay, so see if it's possible to learn that life lesson in the next year. It's a win-win proposition, because either way, at the end of the year, either you will not have gained that insight and you'll realize there's nothing more to be gained here, and then you'll have clarity, or you'll have gained that insight and that ability, and then you'll have the option to remain in this situation because, after all, you've brought yourself to this place where you're unaffected. And then you have the option. Then you get to choose.
But if I fail,
yeah, there's no real failure.
If I'm not able, well,
if it doesn't happen,
been there, done that. Been there, done that. It works. Well, it works, but the dynamics is the more I don't absorb the other person's issues, the stronger they create issues until they can get a response. It's like a toddler who's going to keep tantruming until they get a response, but they do other things in other ways. But it's a similar thing. So I could do it to a certain extent, but eventually it will affect me. So that's what I mean by failing. So I can do it, but not completely. And this has been something that I've been working on for, I want to say, at least 3 years now.
Okay. Okay. And
but it doesn't mean, but it still means that I need more work on me, not necessarily that the.
I'll repeat what I said before.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll repeat what I said before. That at the end of the year, if you end up gaining, if at the end of the year you end up gaining whatever it is, the lesson, the insight, and you become this super person who's able to tolerate all types of dysfunction, and it doesn't bother you, it doesn't touch you, it doesn't rattle your cage in any way, shape, or form, then you have the option to stay, or you have the option to say, you know what, I'm above it, it doesn't bother me anymore, but just because I can tolerate it doesn't mean that I will. So you have all the options open to you. But right now, it seems like you sat in a really difficult class and you didn't really learn what you needed to learn to get an A on the test. So you went through so much of it already. Why don't you just finish it off and learn what you need to learn from it? Unless you're telling me you don't want to, in which case I'm not forcing you to stay. I mean, I haven't.
No.
I'm not telling you.
No,
what to
I'm
do.
not. I'm not saying that. I want to know what Hashem put me in a situation for a reason. But what that reason is,
so what I'm saying, well, we know one possible reason, that you feel that perhaps it would be a lesson to gain to learn to be emotionally autonomous. That means to be able to choose joy and purpose and focus and clarity even when other people around you are being crazy. And if you can gain that, that has a lot of applications beyond marriage. It has applications in almost every aspect of life.
Right. And on the other hand, my brain tells me, yeah, go ahead.
On the other hand, your brain tells you what? You're gonna sit around and there's gonna be no difference, and you're gonna just waste more time and become more jaded and more resentful.
But more than that, I could argue that Hashem put me in a situation for me to say that I am a person of value and don't deserve to be treated like this, and
You told me you already learned that.
To care for my soul.
You told me that you already learned that.
And so, like you said before, intellectually, but I didn't take the steps to actually care for myself by leaving.
So are you telling me that the same thing? So are you telling me that the same lesson that your father taught you, which was that you do not have value, that you internalized that, you only learned that it was wrong intellectually, but you never really unlearned it in any meaningful way, and that you still don't know?
Clearly, that's why I married someone because that's why I married someone with similar issues as my father. Clearly, that's correct. It is extremely hardwired, even though I know it. I'll tell it to my kids, but it doesn't mean I truly feel it enough to act differently, because it is hardwired into my brain from birth.
So what do you want to do?
I want to do what Hashem wants me to do. Like in one of your talks, I heard you say that a person could always be satisfied within themselves, knowing that Hashem gave you everything you need. Well, this is what Hashem decided I needed, but why? Did Hashem give it to me so that I could? That is so untenable that it's going to force me to actually act on the fact that I don't deserve this, and be able to take, and force me to take the action to actually care about myself and do something? Or am I supposed to perfect myself within this? I don't know why Hashem gave it to me. I know Hashem gave it to me, but for what?
Let me try to make it simple. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Did I say that already? I'm going to say it again. I don't know what you're supposed to do. But I do know that for the present, by present, I mean this moment, there has to be something productive. So either you're going to learn emotional autonomy and how to rise above other people affecting you, or you're going to learn to value yourself and not tolerate mistreatment, or maybe some other lesson. But there has to be some lesson that you're learning right now. I don't know what you're supposed to do. I don't know if you're supposed to stay or go. I can't tell you that. But I do know that if you're here right now, you're in the situation right now, I'm not talking about tomorrow, I'm talking about now, then there has to be something you're learning from it. And I think you have some ideas already of lessons that you need to internalize. So instead of asking yourself, does Hashem want me to stay or does Hashem want me to go, which I don't know the answer to, and you clearly don't know the answer to yet, and you may at some point gain clarity, but right now you clearly don't have clarity. So then don't ask that question.
I feel like I do, but I doubt myself.
Oh, then go ahead. By all means, if you have clarity. What does Hashem want you to do?
No, I doubt myself. I feel
so first
like
tell me what you know, and then tell me the doubt. First tell me what you know, and then tell me the doubt. Let's do step one and then step two. You said, I know, and then I doubt myself. So tell me what you know, and then tell me how it's not true. Step one, what do you know?
I know that I and my kids and nobody, and even my husband, doesn't deserve to live the way that we are living. That this is we're living in an untenable environment for any human being, and no one deserves to live like this. That I know. I know that I'm scared of misinterpreting what Hashem wants for me, because if I make the wrong choice...
Stop. Are you telling me what you know, or did you sneakily transition into your doubt? Because I didn't hear you.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, fine. So I know that nobody...
I want you to tell me... Can you hear me, by the way? I'm screaming so that you can hear me. Do you hear me when I'm speaking?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay, so I need you to listen to me. I need you to listen to me. I want you to stay on one track. Tell me what you know, and after you're finished telling me what you know, then we can explain how it's all wrong and it doesn't make sense and you don't know what you're talking about. But first, just tell me what you know. And then when you're done, tell me you're done, and then we can undo it all.
Okay. The bottom line that I know is that Hashem wants me to learn to truly value my essence, not just say it, but feel it and do whatever required, whatever action is necessary in order to live with that knowledge and act upon it, that I have gifts that Hashem bestowed upon me that I'm supposed to use in this world for good and to serve Hashem, and to value that and utilize it instead of quash it and live a non-functional, non-productive life. I know that.
Okay. That was beautiful. That made sense. You spoke with conviction. You spoke with clarity. And you said, I know that. Everything you're saying, I know that. Okay. Now stop. I'm going to give you an opportunity now to undo it. Go ahead. Take it all apart. Tell me how it's all wrong.
No, I know that, but the question is, how do I attain that? Did Hashem put me in this situation because I'm supposed to attain it, like within the situation?
So here's the
or
thing.
Is a situation?
No, nobody knows. Nobody can tell you what you're supposed to do. But here's the thing. You have certain knowledge. And you have it actually very clearly. And I gave you an opportunity, by the way, to argue against yourself. You told me, I know, but then I doubt. I know, but then I doubt. And then I said, go ahead and tell me all the doubts. And you declined, actually. You know, you can go play back the YouTube replay. I asked you, go ahead and tell me how everything you just said was wrong. And you were like, no, actually, it wasn't wrong. I know it. I know what I was saying. So you don't even doubt it. You don't even doubt it. Do you understand that? Is that what I'm saying to you? Does it make sense to you?
I know that to be the truth. I don't doubt that.
Okay, so here's the thing.
How do I attain it?
How do you attain it? That's another question. That's another question. Nobody can tell you what to do. I can't tell you to get divorced. I'm not going to. I'm not going to tell you that. I don't know you. I never met you. I didn't speak to your husband. There's no way I could have an opinion on something like that. What I do know, and I know it because you know it and told it to me really, really clearly, is that you don't deserve to be in a situation where you are mistreated. And you know that very, very clearly. Now, what are you going to do about that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But what I can advise you, and this is just my advice, and, you know, there are other people who also give advice, so I hope that you speak to other people, not just me. My advice to you is stick with what you know. Stick with this truth, which you have eloquently and clearly conveyed. And the more you focus on this truth, the more you focus on what you know to be true, the more you will eventually have clarity about your course of action. You don't have clarity about your course of action yet. You don't. You don't. You have clarity about a certain truth. The more you focus on that truth, the more you will eventually have clarity about your course of action. The course of action will become apparent to you. And when the course of action is apparent to you, I don't even think it will be difficult. In other words, follow what I'm saying. You're stuck right now trying to figure out what to do, and you're not going to answer that question. Focus instead on what you know to be true. And the more you focus on what you know to be true, the more you will eventually come to clarity about your course of action. And when it happens, it won't even be difficult.
Right. I do agree, and I feel like I'm there. Just I don't trust myself because something else you wrote once was that your father used that psychology of people trick them out. They live a fake life that they could trick themselves, and I get scared. Maybe I'm tricking myself. Maybe
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear. This is self-defeating. I don't want to hear about it. No, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear.
Okay.
You spoke very clearly, very eloquently. You know what you know. Let's not pretend that you don't know what you know. Let's not play that game. Why are you doubting yourself? Focus on the truth. Focus on what you know to be true. Ignore the doubts. And as I said, I'll say it again. You don't have a course of action clear to you right now. You don't. You just don't. But you know a certain truth, and that truth is that you have value, that you are worthy of respect, that you are precious, that you are beloved in the eyes of your Maker. These things you know without a shadow of a doubt. So focus on these things that you know until a course of action will present itself to you. Don't ask yourself what to do. Ask yourself what you know to be true and keep reminding yourself of what you know to be true until finally you know what to do about it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Does this make sense?
Okay.
You're getting
so when you just said that the last last time, it sparked something in me that I just got this feeling like, yeah, the more I focus on that truth, the more I will live that truth and embrace the gifts that Hashem did give me and do what I'm supposed to do with it, regardless of where I am. I just got that knowledge and feeling and understanding.
This was the big sentence. Can you say it back to me again?
Say what back?
This sentence. This is the whole thing. This is your truth. Say it back to me. I don't want to forget this.
That I'm beloved to Hashem. That sentence.
Whatever it is, say it to me. It's your truth. What was the spark? You said you had a spark.
Yeah, that if I actually keep telling myself I'm inherently good, I'm inherently loved by Hashem, I have a purpose in this world, then I will live. The more I tell that to myself, the less other influences will negatively affect me and diminish me, and I'll be able to live from that truth, doing what I need to do, whether I'm in the situation of others' actions making me feel differently. I'll just keep telling myself the truth.
Okay.
But that's very hard. But I felt it for a second.
And I'm going to be annoying. I'm going to be so super annoying. And everyone who's watching right now and who's like weirded out and they're like, this Taub guy, he's too weird for me. So I just want to explain to everybody, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm not speaking to you right now. I'm speaking to the people watching. I'm not here to entertain you.
Okay.
I'm here to essentially, well, what am I here to do? Help the people who are calling me. Now, the manner in which I help them, it's a process. The process is really, it's not about making people feel good. It's about getting people to a place of clarity. This particular call, I'm sure many people are watching this and they're like, it wasn't a pleasant call. I'm going to be very frank. It was not pleasant. It was like a tooth extraction. It was like a real, like a root canal. Okay. But I want to tell you something. We got to the core. We got there. Okay. So I'm not here to give people entertainment. I know this was an excruciating process. It was excruciating for me. And I know it was, at least I sense that it was excruciating for you, but we got clarity. So therefore I'm going to be annoying. I'm going to be annoying and I'm going to be boring. I'm not here to entertain anyone or hold anyone's interest. I want you to tell me again. I'm so sorry, but tell me again the truth, because I don't know. Were we talking for 30 minutes? How long were we talking for? You saw how long? 40 minutes?
About.
Okay.
And I didn't find it excruciating.
So at the end of the
fascinating that you could do what you did.
Okay, at the end. Okay, thank God that you didn't find it too painful. We invested 40 minutes. Okay, we got this sentence that is so gold. It's so gold. I want you to say it to me again. Please say it to me again. You don't have to have the perfect words. Just say your words. Tell it to me again, because this is your truth.
I actually like your words. I think that's what hit me.
Whatever. Use my words. Whatever you want. Just tell me. Yeah. Tell me the truth. I need to know the truth.
That I have inherent value.
Yes.
I am loved by my Creator. My Creator put me here for a purpose.
Yes.
My Creator believes in me.
Yes.
And I know for a fact.
Yes, for a fact.
That Hashem has given me. Well, yes, I do know that Hashem has given me a specific gifts and talents to be utilized in the world, which I have stolen from the world as I found myself getting more and more diminished. And I don't need to do that, no matter what anyone else says or makes me feel like, because I could just keep focusing on the truth of the fact that Hashem believes in me and Hashem loves me and put me here for a purpose, and that's what I need to focus on.
That's correct. And that when you focus on that, the course of action that you need to take will reveal itself. And that you don't have to figure out the course of action. You just have to keep remembering the truth.
I agree, and I appreciate it. And I actually found this extremely fascinating, not painful at all. And I appreciate you.
Thank God, because I want to tell you something. Like I told you, this was a tooth extraction, but you were awesome. I think probably a lot of people watching were squeamish, and they're like, what is he doing? He's screaming at her. I want to tell you something. You were awesome. And in 40 minutes, we got to the core. This was the thing that, unfortunately, growing up in your home, you were told the opposite. And now you know that this is the truth. You have value, you are precious, you are beloved, and you're here in the world to shine your light and not to diminish yourself for anybody. And if you'll just keep reminding yourself that, then what you need to do about it will become clear.
And the more I live like that, the more I will internalize it and start to actually feel it inherently inside me, right?
That's right. That's why I'm telling you, keep repeating that truth. Internalize is the word. You use the perfect word. Keep reminding yourself that truth. Keep reminding yourself that truth.
Yeah, but I have to act on it. I tell myself it all the time, but I don't act on it.
You don't have to worry about that. I'm making it simple for you. Just keep repeating the truth. When you internalize it, it'll come out. It'll come out in your behaviors. Right. It'll come out in your choices. Not only that, it'll come out in the choices that you even observe are possible. A lot of times we have choices in front of us, but we don't see that they're options, so we don't act on them. So it's not that we don't have the ability to choose. It's that we don't even see what the options are available. So the more you repeat to yourself that truth, the more you're going to see the options that are available.
Understood, and I agree, and I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the hard work. Thank you for the hard work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, awesome call.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and you know what? Have a restful Shabbos. You deserve it. You worked hard tonight. Okay.
You should live my life. This was easy.
Oh, this was easy compared to the rest of your crazy life. This was a picnic. Okay, great.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Baruch Hashem.
Now I get to go back to crazy. The other mothers, you can feel free to reach out to me. I understand crazy.
Oh, yeah. Email me your number, and I'll give it to the previous caller so you can talk to her about some parenting neurodivergent kids. Tips and advice and like that. Okay. Awesome. You were awesome. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Thank you. That was our last caller. Okay. Good Shabbos. Okay. So JFYI, yes, I know that was a long call. I know it was a meandering call, but I want to tell you something. We got to the end. We got to it. It's a tooth extraction. Sometimes you have to go in there and you're digging, and if I work and the person I'm talking to is working, and she was working, she was locked in. Well, she, you know what happened? I don't want to speak about her. Well, she hung up. She's probably listening now on the live stream. That self-doubt crept in, and that was like the distraction. That's why I kept on trying to bat that away. That voice of self-doubt was just taking us. It's like the second we were gaining traction, like the self-doubt was coming in and like making everything slip away. So that's why I was trying to keep her on track. And Baruch Hashem, she kept working hard, and that was awesome. Awesome caller. And I'm sorry to those of you who were bored, or those of you who found it weird, or who were squeamish about it, but that's what hard work looks like, and that was an awesome caller. Okay, so I didn't have fun. No, I did not find that enjoyable, but I feel like it was time well spent. That's basically how I look at life, by the way. People ask me, like, having a good time? No, I don't have good times. That's not what I do. I'm not JJ. I'm not having good times. I like that reference. I'm here to be productive. I'm here to accomplish something. I feel that was a productive call because the caller was working hard, and that's what life's about. Okay. I have other calls coming in. One second. Yeah, hi. Are you calling in right now? Okay, try again on that number that I gave you. Oh, actually, wait. Can you call me back in like 50? No. 1 second. No, on that other number. That 516 number. Wait, could you call me in 15 minutes? Is that okay? Ooh, okay. 1 second. Michael, welcome. Michael's on the show.
Rabbi, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, thank God. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Glad to hear it.
Hi, Melissa, welcome.
Hello.
Hi there.
Hi, thanks for having me on tonight.
It's our pleasure. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rabbi. Great to be here.
Hey there. How are you doing?
Doing well. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Thanks for taking me.
Hello?
Hey there. You're on the air. We'd like to extend a special thank you to Mendel Simon and 9x9 Tech for powering this call-in show and making it possible for us to connect with our amazing audience. 9x9 Tech offers a one-stop service for all your communication needs, along with personalized tech solutions catered specifically towards your business. Visit 9x9tech.com today. That's 9x9tech.com. Thank you, Mendel and the team, for your incredible support. Hey, this is Shais Taub. You were just watching a clip from this class. If you want to get the full context, the full class that this clip that you just watched was from, you watch right here. Click right here.